The story opens on Dorian Vale, a once renowned actor, now a shadow of his former self. He lives in a small, cramped apartment, surrounded by old playbills and bitter memories. A single, elegant invitation arrives, summoning him to a performance at the Crimson Curtain Theater, the very place of his greatest triumphs and most crushing failures. The Crimson Curtain Theater, a grand, dilapidated theater, a palace of 1,000 dreams, a stage where legends were born and history was made. For decades, it was the beating heart of the city's artistry and imagination. But every stage has a final act. A tragedy that no one speaks of left the theater a hollow shell. Now, the theater stands as a silent monument to what it once was. But they say a presence still lingers in the dark, a ghost of an artist, waiting for one last performance. Dorian arrives at the theater. Inside, a spotlight illuminates the dusty stage, but the theater itself is empty. The phantom director, with commanding voice guiding him to his dressing room, he looked into the mirrors and saw the ghost of the man he used to be. Every wrinkle in his face was a line he'd failed to deliver. And in that mirror, his younger self was there to remind him. Dorian received instructions from the phantom director to give his best piece of solo performance. He mutters lines under his breath, his face a mask of worry. The heavy velvet curtains loom, muffling the sounds but failing to calm his mounting fear. A spotlight pierces the darkness on the stage, casting circles of light on the empty stage, promising revelation. Dorian emerges from the shadows, his face a mask of apprehension as he steps into the light. The transformation begins. Nervousness melts away, replaced by a steely resolve that hardens his features. He draws in a deep breath, preparing to unleash the force within. The stage awaits, ready to bear witness to his unfolding destiny. Dorian steps onto the stage, his antique costume shimmering under the intense spotlight. With a dramatic gesture, Dorian begins his performance, his voice resonating through the silent theater. The shadows dance around him as the spotlight intensifies, highlighting his every move. Dorian's voice fills the theater, each word echoing with powerful emotion. He commands the stage, his presence amplified by the stark contrast of light and shadow. The theater stretches into darkness, an expanse of seats filled with spectral guests. These ethereal figures sat there with forms shimmering like mist. The ghostly audience gathered to enjoy the performance, their translucent eyes fixed on the stage. Silent and still, the spectral patrons watch with attention, their presence a haunting echo. The theater transforms into a realm between worlds, where the living and the spectral converge in silent observation. On stage, Dorian's face is a canvas of raw emotion, tears carving paths down his cheeks. His eyes blaze with fierce intensity as he delivers each line with heart-wrenching passion. The spectral audience hangs onto every word, their forms barely visible in the shadows. Dorian is unaware of the ghostly figures, caught in the throes of his performance. Dorian's costume sparkles under the lights, each sequin a tiny mirror reflecting the dreamlike atmosphere. In the heart of the theater, the spectral audience materializes, their forms becoming increasingly distinct. Smiles flicker across some faces, mirroring moments of joy. Tears stream down others, embodying deep sorrow. Each ghostly figure is utterly captivated by the drama unfolding on stage, their emotions laid bare. The spectral audience, a mirror to Dorian's inner turmoil, reflects his joy, his sorrow, his deepest fears became a reality. On the grand stage, Dorian's voice soars as he reaches the pinnacle of his performance, filling the theater with raw emotion. His body gives way as he collapses to his knees, a mixture of exhaustion and triumph etched across his face. In the ethereal silence, the ghostly audience erupts in applause, their spectral hands a blur of appreciation. Dorian remains kneeling, his head slightly bowed as he basks in the silent ovation. The spectral audience dissolves into nothingness, their silent observation now just a memory. Dorian rises, the echoes of his performance resonating within him. A subtle smile graces his lips, a hint of satisfaction in the aftermath. He speaks softly, the finality of the moment captured in his words. It is done. On a dimly lit stage, Dorian stands under a single spotlight, facing the cloaked Phantom Director in an atmosphere charged with anticipation. The Phantom Director extends a glowing script towards Dorian, its light revealing the title, The Eternal Role. The Phantom Director's words hang in the air. Perfection demands sacrifice. You can live this character forever on this stage. Dorian's conflicted expression reflects the weight of the Phantom Director's offer, the script's eerie glow illuminating his face. In the vast, silent theater, Dorian stands alone, a solitary figure swallowed by the shadows and the echoing silence. An unsettling presence takes form before Dorian. The Phantom Director, his aura casting a chilling dread over the empty stage. The Phantom Director speaks, his voice resonating with an eerie authority. This was not a comeback, Dorian, but a choice. A script appears in the Phantom Director's outstretched hand, its title glowing with an otherworldly light, The Eternal Role. The Phantom Director continues, his words a haunting promise and a dire warning. You can have your final, perfect performance, but the price is your identity. He reveals the horrific cost. You must become the character and remain on this stage forever, a ghost of your former self, forever living out the tragic ending. In the vast darkness of the theater, a lone spotlight pierces through, illuminating Dorian. He stands poised, ready to deliver his climactic performance, the eternal role, the weight of the unseen audience palpable. The costume adorns him, transforming him into the character he is about to embody, every detail meticulously crafted. He takes a deep breath, centering himself, ready to unleash the passion and artistry within. Amid the hushed anticipation of the theater, Dorian steps into the spotlight, his figure stark against the rich velvet curtains. The gravity of the performance weighs heavily on Dorian, as the tremor in his hands betrays the inner turmoil of his character's impending sacrifice. His eyes, deep pools of emotion, reflect the profound depths of the sacrifice his character is about to make. Mid-performance, a flicker of defiance sparks in Dorian's eyes, hinting at an inner rebellion. In a pivotal moment, Dorian makes a silent vow, sealing his decision with unwavering resolve. I have decided to live my own life, not an eternal performance. A bold act of rebellion. Dorian alters the script, his eyes blazing with newfound determination. The stage lights intensify as Dorian's unexpected words echo through the theater. In this moment of defiance, Dorian embraces his destiny, rewriting his fate with every uttered word. I have decided to live my own life, not an eternal performance. Dorian exits the stage, shedding his theatrical persona. From the darkness, a spectral hand reaches, attempting to pull Dorian back. Dorian strides forward, unwavering, his gaze fixed on an unseen point ahead. Dorian departs, leaving the stage to its silent fate. Unseen, tendrils of smoke begin to weave through the heavy curtains. The first flicker of fire dances subtly behind the velvet. The stage is set, unknowingly, for a fiery transformation. The theater transforms into an inferno, smoke rising like serpents through the velvet curtains and gilded balconies. Hungry flames devour the stage, consuming everything in their path. The ethereal figures of a ghostly audience watched in horror. The theater groans, its wooden bones protesting Dorian's defiance. Phantom Director stunned, standing at the stage almost engulfed in flames. The theater doors open, and Dorian steps out into the night, a changed man. He pauses, taking a deep breath as if shedding his former skin. With a resolute step, Dorian turns his back on the theater, its shadows receding behind him. His figure outlines sharply against the trembling light. He turns back towards the theater, now consumed by raging flames. Tendrils of fire reach into the night, transforming the sky into a canvas of orange and red. A complex mix of shock and liberation crosses Dorian's face, caught between surprise and relief. Flames consume the theater, painting the night sky with fiery hues. Dorian, a figure of irrevocable choices, turns away from the inferno, his back to the past. He continues his walk, a sense of liberation filling the air as he leaves the past ablaze behind him. Beneath the cloak of night, Dorian emerges, reborn in ordinary clothes, his theatrical past now shed. With each breath, Dorian savors the freedom of his new beginning as the night whispers promises of undiscovered horizons. He is a man reborn, shedding the weight of his past to embrace the promise of his true self. In this moment of clarity, Dorian realizes that redemption lies not in assuming a role, but in honoring his authentic identity. The street fades into a blur as Dorian's inner world takes center stage, his heart resonating with newfound purpose and resolve. With a renewed sense of self-acceptance, Dorian steps forward, ready to embrace whatever the future holds with unwavering conviction. The theater stage lies in ruins, a desolate landscape of charred memories and shattered dreams. Smoke rises in ghostly wisps, a haunting reminder of the destructive blaze that consumed all. The charred remains of props hint at stories untold, now silenced forever by the relentless flames. The mask lies still, a poignant symbol of Dorian's escape from the gilded cage of performance. The cityscape looms, a vast and indifferent witness to Dorian's departure, as he navigates the maze of streets on his own terms. As Dorian disappears completely into the urban labyrinth, the city remains, a silent testament to his journey's commencement, his future unwritten.